What's up guys, Anders here with another silver grind guide for you guys. Shadow Arena officially launched recently, and with it we've had a few changes and nerfs, so I want to test out how much silver per hour you can expect by being average at Shadow Arena. Now for this test I played for 10 hours in total and averaged 4 to 5 matches per hour, and I'll be going into tactics, more specifics in a bit, but let's start off with some numbers since that's why we're here. Silver per hour, by the way, means everything you get from Shadow Arena you are selling to the central market. It's not just the raw silver. That means all black stones and memory fragments. You can't sell cron stones, but we're assuming you value them at 2 million silvers, as you should, since they're extremely useful for later stages of the game. Now if you disagree and don't care about cron stones, then you're looking at about 28 million silver an hour. However, if you're like me and you love getting cron stones for those pen attempts, then you're looking at 42 million silver an hour. Either way, it's incredibly good money for what is required of you, which is virtually nothing. You need no pets, no gear, no levels. You can start the game basically from scratch and just play the mode as long as it's open, which is most of the day since launch. Now the catch is, of course, this data was taken with Camo Blessing active, which gives you an additional reward after every match called the Camo box. The better placement, the better potential reward, but all the base rewards stay the same. You shouldn't worry too much about this though. As you can see, in 10 hours I only ever got one accessory, a narc earring worth about 21 million on NA markets right now. Most of the time expect to get crons and memory fragments though. The need for Camo Blessing is a hindrance, I have to admit, but since 15 days will cost you $12 or so, you should not be really spending the money. If you live on NA, getting Camo Blessings is fairly easy, as they go up all the time and only cost 73 million silver, which you can make back in a couple hours of Shadow Arena. On EU, you'll have to wait a little bit longer, but it's still doable. I've won a 15-day Camo Blessing on EU. And if you're new or returning, you get Camo Blessings from simply logging in. So in essence, you shouldn't really have an issue getting your hands on some blessings without having to spend some real world money. Now with the launch, the devs have added a few things like added random missions within Shadow Arena that can reward you with 1 or even 2 resplendent black rocks in addition to your normal rewards. Of course, these missions aren't always easy to complete and sometimes may seem impossible. For example, killing 2 tamers is difficult to do when not very many people pick tamers to begin with, though I'm an exception to that observation. Now, completing a match in top 5 within 10 minutes is also not really up to you, as in Shadow Arena you tend to have 2 types of people, the aggressive and the passive. Now within these 2 styles, there are 2 extremes of each other. Aggressive players look for player kills once you say you have 200 AP plus early on, and in the middle stages of the match you'd want 250 plus and at least 200 DP to survive a fight. Now overly aggressive players, the extreme of that style, they start smacking you in the face with no loot and no gear, and sometimes they get kills that way, but more often than not they're wasting everyone's time, as killing players early on is 90% of the time useless, as your target more than likely has very little loot to make up for the time invested in killing them. And then you have the passive players like me. We focus on golden chests and killing mobs as fast as possible to start building up our silver reward for the end of the match. Now if we happen to get RNG carried by doing this, we may choose to engage on aggressive players or simply keep on killing mobs, Shadow Arena bosses, and engage on aggressive players once we have some better gear. This is the safest and most consistent way to get top 20 every time, and with some luck top 10. Now overly passive players, the extreme of the passive style, are those who choose ninja and kunoichi, kill mobs, avoid fights, and try to find stealth as soon as possible. Getting to top 10 with stealth is fairly easy, but you lose out on silver income if you decide not to engage on players later on into the match, or attempt to even kill bosses for fear of dying before top 10. Now as for the strategies, I'm not going to sit here and claim I'm really good at Shadow Arena, because I'm not. I do okay. My general playstyle will differ from your own personal taste, so try and experiment with different styles and see which ones you like. For me, I've focused on playing usually 3 classes. You really want to be adept with a few classes and not just one, since you may find yourself unable to find your preferred class most of the time. I play Tamer, Sork, and if I have to, Warrior, though I usually find one of those two. Right now, Warrior is the best class you can choose overall since they have range CC, block, defensive high damage AoE, and the grab, and more often than not you'll see Warriors more than any other class. The good thing is that half of them don't really know how to play Warrior very well, so if you're on a preferred class, you'll be fine, honestly. As for playstyle, you want to test different corners of the map to see which areas you like more. The mob density and the golden chest density is RNG, so any corner will do. And as you launch yourself to the corner, try and find one of your classes quickly so you don't waste time. If you take too long, you're gonna die as a black spirit. Now sometimes you'll get missions popping up that will ask you to play a certain class, so look to see what missions you get and think about whether or not you think you can complete it. Choosing your class is simple. You see all the different class emblems, so choose one you want and start killing chests and mobs. And prioritize chests over mobs, as golden chests die in one hit and can give you an upgrade. Mobs do tend to give you a higher chance for armor and weapon upgrades in my experience, so keep that in mind. And make sure you're also always aware of the wall. The circle will be bright blue in the beginning, meaning you're safe. But as the match goes on, the blue circle will shrink and the old circle will turn gray, slowly converging into the new smaller blue circle. This will continue to happen until someone wins the match. Now bosses will spawn throughout the match as well. They have high chances of dropping their specific gold piece, but can also drop other yellow items. And if you're alone and have some decent AP like 200 plus, you want to kill these ASAP to get stronger. Other things to watch out for are small towers that pop up and shoot laser beams around them. Killing these towers will give you a minute buff to all your resistances and offenses, and so if you're looking to kill people better or survive a little bit longer and be more defensive, it's always a good idea to kill these. By the time you get to top 20, you'll want to have at least 250 AP and at least 200 DP to have a chance, but gear you get from mobs is RNG, so this may not always happen, and what you want to do is shift into a more defensive approach. Kill chests when you see them, but only engage on mobs if you're clear of your surroundings. You can actually hold down your middle mouse button to turn your camera behind you as you kill mobs to make sure no one is sneaking up behind you. Now once you reach top 10, you should be going for kills, or if you're unlucky with RNG, wait for someone to kill another player and go in and scavenge what you can from the fresh kill. This vulture tactic can boost your income by a couple million in the last minutes of the game and can sometimes even let you win the game. Now once the match ends, you get silver and your placement reward, as well as the camisole box depending on your placement. You don't actually get to keep any of the items you looted, so keep that in mind. And that's all I got for you guys when it comes to Shadow Arena. It's decent money. If you're looking for a memory fragment farm, it's okay. Not as good as it used to be since they nerfed the amount of memory fragments you get now. Still, if your gear is broken, you can at least play an hour or two a day to eventually repair your boss gear. And the fact that you need virtually nothing to get enhancement materials and make 30 to 40 million an hour, even more if you're pretty good at the game, that's decent money if you ask me. Now let me know what you thought about this video in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please make sure to sub, like the video if you found it helpful, dislike if you didn't, and remember to click on the bell icon to get notified when I upload my next video. Every single sub counts as we continue to grow, and as always, thanks for watching guys, thanks for listening. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.